Before I start my presentation, I'd like to take some time on what co-op commerce is. So, in my words, I would say that co-op commerce is a network of high-quality brands coming together to open up new avenues for customer acquisition and retention, like in an economic manner. So, if you're familiar with how Facebook does its marketing schemes, the average cost of retaining a customer on your own brand place is like pretty high. But what we are trying to do is to bring uh, is to bring down those costs in a significant manner, and that's what like our aim is. So imagine that you're a brand who has signed up with Co-op Commerce. As a brand, like when a customer makes a purchase on your website, the thank you page, like or the page we like to call the post-purchase page, when our widget loads up on your thank you page, you earn some credits. Now, these credits can later on be used when your products, when as a brand, your products display on other brands' post-purchase page. So in a way, you're actually helping all the other brands on our network to get their purchases up, and you're sharing customers in between each other. So, yep, like that's how you share customers with each other. And like the more credits you have, the more frequently you come up. Like this is our main motive. And with this concept, we have actually achieved pretty amazing results. Like we have a conversion rate of 4.6% and a CTR of 2%, which I think is pretty incredible. So like I think that is enough reason for any brand to sign up with our network. So, yep, that's about it. And I do have a presentation plan. So I'm going to start sharing. Yep. Okay. So as I said, as you might remember that I was talking about a widget. So this is the co-op commerce widget. Like this is from one of our partner websites. Like if you can see over here that Twillory is one of our brands and they are showing their products over here, and Beam is one of the brands, they are showing their products, and like whichever website this widget is hosted on, that particular website is earning credits on our network, and Twillory is getting its credit deducted because like we have basically advertised their products on a different website. So in a way that they have they have potential for this particular customer to land up on their website. Right now, we are a network of 100 plus brands. These are some of the brands that we are offering. We have Designer Revival, which is a luxury clothing brand. We have Cola, which is offering lattes. Fabric, which is like offering skincare products. Sprinklers, uh, basically some female products. Like that's about it. Coming to feature flags, like if someone asks me like what are feature flags, I would like to call feature flags tests in production. Like we are all developers, right? We don't like to test things in production, but feature flags actually give you that ability to test in production, and then later on turn off that code if it actually breaks something. So the basic usage for a feature flag is that assume that you have to launch a very experimental feature, but you don't know how that feature would perform. You don't have any data to correspond with. Like you don't know if a particular button would work on a particular screen. You don't have any data to back up your assumptions. That's where feature flags come in. You can selectively turn on a particular feature or turn on some cosmetic change on your website and see how that particular feature performs. And yep, like when you turn on that feature, you can use some different kind of analytics to see how that feature is performing, and basically then make a decision based on that. But yep, that's about it. Like with feature flags, you can experiment different product flows as well. For example, let's say that you're signing up for a website and you want to experiment with various sign up flows. Like you want to experiment with a sign up flow of 3 pages, with a sign up flow of 4 pages. I want to see what forms best. Like what keeps your users attention, or like, what keeps your users stay on that particular screen, and you want to analyze where your particular user is dropping off. That's where feature flags come in, because you can actually feed in information and know where which feature flag is working and which feature flag is not. And best part about it is that you can turn on feature flags selectively. For example, that let's say that you have 100 users and you want to like segment them out in two groups, like group A and group B, and you want that the feature flag a particular feature flag for a particular feature should be turned on for group A and group B, you can do that. Like that's the basic fundamental of A/B testing, and that's possible with feature flags. So, yep, even segmentation is possible over there. And also, like, even if you don't know how to define your groups, like you don't have any certain characteristics about your users, which you can use to define your groups, feature flags also help you to randomly turn on, randomly be on and off based on the percentage that you specify. Like, if you want the feature flag to be on for 20% of the users, you can do that. Or if you want the feature flag to be on 20% of the time, that's also a configuration. So, yep, that's also possible. The main, like, if you were to talk about the use cases, you can use feature flags for canary launches. And what I mean by canary launches is that you want to launch some feature and you just want to see if it performs well. Like, you don't want to keep it in production, but just for testing it. Like, it's very experimental, it could potentially break your site. But just to see if it performs good, you can use feature flag and then maybe refine it later on basis of feedback that you get with data afterwards. And yes, the main part of using a feature flag, according to me, is like analyzing the data that comes with it. If you're using a feature flag, you must do some kind of analytics over there. Like if you're using a feature flag, you should, with the event tracking on your website, you should insert some additional parameters that allow you to know where a user went from and what was his product flow from point A to point B. You must know about everything. And if they went somewhere from feature flag that was somehow better for your website, I think like over there you should use analytics and understand that which feature flag is performing best and which features you want to incorporate in your application. So like assume that you have an application wherein you have some buttons, where you have some color schemes, etc. And you're experimenting with them, like which button works where, what copy works over there. So you can use feature flags to experiment different copies, experiment different colors, and see where the user retention rate increases or decreases. And on the basis of that data, you can select that particular copy or the particular color or the particular positioning of the elements on your screen. That's like one of the use cases, and that's what A/B testing has been used in the past as well. But with feature flag, there's a unique thing that you can also test out backend functionality. Like you can test out new features like new additional pages in sign up flow, or like even more abilities like wherein you want your customers' data to be saved in a different manner than usual. Feature flags allow you to do that with a way to test additional backend functionality, and even in a selective manner, not to everyone. And the best part is that you can turn it off anytime you want. Whenever you see that it's breaking something or it's not performing well, then you have the kill switch to turn it off. Okay, so coming to feature flag services, we have two services over here. We have Waffle and Launch Darkly. Waffle and Launch Darkly are like the primary servers that I have seen used in production to implement feature flipping features. And like there are several differences that I want to go over them. But again, there are other services that you can go with. I wouldn't focus on like either of them. So Waffle. Waffle is like the simplest service that you can use for managing feature flags. Waffle integrates with your database system and it works inherently with the Django auth system. So let's say that you wanted to turn on a feature flag for a particular user or for a particular group of users. You can make those users and make those groups and select those users just using the Django auth system. You don't need to do any different segmentation or import your users into a different platform. That's one of the main advantages of Waffle. And the best part about Waffle is that the flags are integrated into your database system. So there's no network latency inherent with other solutions like Launch Darkly. That makes Waffle pretty easy to integrate in a production environment, and it doesn't even hamper your performance. The disadvantage with Waffle is that there's no out-of-the-box support for analytics. Like you have to do some own event tracking, insert some more parameters into your events to know where your user ended up with and with what flag. You have to do the analytics yourself, but that's okay, I guess, because with the performance constraint that Waffles offers you, I think that it's okay to have some kind of a compromise over there. The other system that we have is Launch Darkly. So Launch Darkly is a website that offers you a full suite of features to support and analyze feature flags. Like it offers you analytics, it offers you event tracking, it offers you the way it offers you a way to segment your users on the basis of the user ID or a group ID. So everything related to feature flags is supported by LaunchDarkly. And an additional feature that is not offered by Waffle and offered by LaunchDarkly is multivariate flags. So like with feature flags, usually what people understand is that on the basis of an if condition, you end up with one feature, and if that if condition is false, you end up with another feature. But with launch darkly, with a single flag, you can end up in more than two conditions. Like you can end up with more than two features at the same time. So like that's still an advantage for me. And the best part about Launch Darkly is that it offers you detailed analytics about all of your feature flags and where your user end up with one particular feature flag. And like analytics, again, is the most important thing for feature flags, in my opinion. So, yep, Launch Darkly is doing great on that front for me. Okay, I think I've been just going on and on. Let me see if there are any questions. Okay, so like Matt, on your question, so okay, let's assume a use case where you have introduced a new column in one of your tables, and you want to make sure that that particular migration doesn't break anywhere. So the way to do that, like in terms of Django, is that you can wrap all of the API endpoints or all the functions that use that particular column behind the feature flag. So like if anything was supposed to break, it will break within the feature flag tag. It won't break any other way, because like you might be selecting the columns in that particular table based on serializers, right? So the way to do that, like if you can wrap around the additional columns or the new columns in a feature flag, that would like allow you to manage the complexity in your application and even prevent the code from breaking in production. So, yep. Okay. Okay. As I said, like I've been working with co-op commerce, and I think I should actually explain with an example what feature flags can do in your application. So I'm starting off with a live use case that we came up with co-op commerce during our early days. So for this example, I'd like you to assume that there are two users in your web space. There's Bob and there's Sarah. For Bob, the feature flag for a page that I'm going to call as primary page is off. And for Sarah, the flag for the primary page is on. So when that flag is off and you're Bob, you go onto the page, you select on any product on a widget, you end up at the partner website. For example, if you clicked on Twillory's shirt over here, you would end up on Twillory's product page for that particular shirt. Whereas if you're Sarah and you click on any shirt from Twillory, first you would see this in-between screen or the primary page screen as we call it at Co-op Commerce. You would see some information about the brand, you would see the product name, some discount codes, maybe some other products from the brand, and then you end up at the final product page. We introduced this feature to like understand where our users are coming from and how their user experience can be better. Like with the primer page, as you can see, we are providing more context into the brand's products and more about the brand information. So like this was one of the reasons that led to a redesign in a widget. Like we understood that brands or the consumers require more context into the brands that are being displayed into the widget, and providing more context can lead to higher conversions and higher CTR. So like we use feature flags to determine which particular set of users got a prime page and which particular set of users did not get a prime page. We did this on the basis of randomization. We determined at the beginning, we said that only 20% of the users would get this feature flag. And later on, when we saw that the users that were getting the prime page had a higher possibility of getting conversion and had a higher rate of CTR, we went with feature flag in full production. Like we kept the prime page on for everyone, and we saw like a great increase in all of our metrics across all verticals. Okay, I've been talking about analytics for a while, like analytics for a while, because like with feature flags, you need to track a lot of things. You need to track where your user came from, where he started from, and where did he end up, and what was the path that he took in between. Did the path involve one feature flag or two feature flags, and was there any correlation between those effects? So to do that, we have like various services. At Co-op Commerce, we use Segment and Amplitude. Segment is an event broker service that allows you to combine all the events for a particular user and to basically know, like for a particular session and for a particular user, where did the user start from, which pages did he see in between, what objects did he click on, and where did his actually journey end. And Amplitude is the service that we use to track those events. Those events are being like called from Segment, and then Amplitude can make analytic decisions on the basis of those events. So, like if you were to take a sample use case, let's say that you're a user on a widget. The widget is loaded on the website. At that point of time, an event is fired, which we call the widget load event. The widget is loaded on your website. So now we know that you can either take the primer page or you go to the product page for the brand. Depending on the value of the feature flag, you end up on the primer page and then you end up on the product page, or you end up on the product page directly. We notice that when a user is getting the primer page, they are more likely to make a purchase on the partner brand because they have more context on what the brand is selling and what the brand is all about. So we saw that like using Segment, because we saw that the users who saw the primer page are actually firing more widget load events on partner brands that led to the primer page. So this was like one of the use cases that I feel are very descriptive enough, wherein you can describe the usability and the importance of feature flag in any application. So, yep. And if you want to know more, like there are a lot of articles over the internet. There are a lot of services that offer feature flag and the management. And like I do have some links over here. I hope that the presentation can reach you after my meet, so that you can have a look at it. And lastly, yes, we are hiring. So if you want to get in touch with us, like we have a lot of vacancies at Co-op Commerce. We have vacancy for ML engineers. We have vacancies for product designers. So if any of you are interested, you can get in touch with me at karan@coopcommerce.com and let me know if you're interested.